Well, welcome to this info session for the Donner Trail Park request for qualifications. This is an RFQ, a call for artists from the Salt Lake City Public Art Program. My name is Renato, and I'm the Public Art Program Manager for Salt Lake City Arts Council, and I'm joined by my colleague, Amy. Amy is our Public Art Coordinator. Today is Thursday, November 19th, November 16th, that's my typo, it's November 16th. And you're here to learn more about this project. The purpose of this session is to get you acquainted. I'm going to go through a lot of the details within the RFQ itself. And then I will ask you to, if you have any questions, you're welcome to chat them at any time on the Q&A function of Zoom. However, we will be answering those at the end of the session. You'll have more time to ask questions. Let's get started. So this is an RFQ open to all artists and artist-led teams currently residing in the United States, regardless of race, religion, gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, age, marital status, political opinion or affiliation, or mental or physical disability. This RFQ is a national one, and we welcome artist-led team applications. However, we tell you that each team has to be led by a person with a demonstrated history of professional activity as an artist, and a team may not substitute members after submission unless the Public Art Program ourselves consents to any proposed substitution. Keep in mind that it's one person, one application. So if you are intending to submit your application as an individual artist, you may not do so as well as a member of a team. Introduction. This park is Donner Trail Park. It's located on the east bench of Salt Lake City. If you're not familiar with Salt Lake City, we're a valley surrounded by mountains. The city is somewhat divided between east and west side. This park is over on the west side. Here at the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see the boundaries of the park. The park is near a lot of cultural institutions, which I'll go over on the next slide. But it is a 14.27 acre park in the East Bench neighborhood of the city. This park is currently being reimagined. What do we mean by reimagined? Public lands, thanks to the support of Salt Lake City voters, has received Parks, Trails, and Open Space General Obligation Bond that's reimagining a bulk of Salt Lake City parks throughout our city. We're doing so in order to better reflect neighborhood needs and identities and include public art in some of them. This public art opportunity seeks to commission a site-specific art installation that responds to the park's contemplative setting and or the unique history of the site. We intend for this piece to become the centerpiece, or this art installation will become the centerpiece of a reimagined Donner Trail Park. So we're excited that public art is taking such an important role within the park. If you're familiar with Salt Lake City, Donner Trail Park is actually located on the neighborhood side. This street right here is the main viaduct that takes you up Immigration Canyon. And a lot of people are really familiar with Rotary Glen Park. This park is not a part of this, the scope of work for this public art project, but I want to bring it up because a lot of people do like it and do go there. So I invite you that if you visit Rotary Glen, you also come take a look at Donner Trail Park. Immigration Creek runs right through the park, and you are not able to see Immigration Creek, which is one of the main tributaries that go into the Jordan River that goes into the Great Salt Lake. But you're able to experience nature from the park in a very interesting and unique way. Project background. Our colleagues in public lands have led community outreach and engagement efforts in order to understand better how the park can be reimagined. You will notice throughout this presentation, which we're going to post the link to these slides on our Call for Artists page. You will be able to click them, and I encourage you to click these links because they will be active and they're live. One of the main components that people really enjoy about Donner Trail Park is the access to nature and the undisturbed views of the valley that you can see from this vantage point. This is at a much higher elevation than the rest of the valley. So on a clear day, I know there are some trees right here, but you can see the cityscape, the urban landscape in the background. You get really stunning views of almost the entire Salt Lake City Valley, including the Great Salt Lake at the very, very end. Our colleagues in public lands conducted an engagement effort from May to September of this year. And the first phase of this community engagement and the feedback can be found on the engagement report that is linked here. We work really closely with our colleagues in public lands in order to form this call for artists. So we're excited that, like I said before, that this project really takes public art as a center. I want to talk a little bit more about the neighborhood and where Donner Trail Park is located within Salt Lake City. Over here on the right of your screen, you'll be able to see an image of Emigration Creek. There's a lot of opportunities for outdoor recreation, and people really like that as an aspect of the park. So whatever happens at Donner Trail Park in the way that it's reimagined, access to nature, unobstructed views of the valley, including a place where you come and gather for peace and relaxation and meditation will be critical. So a public artist will need to understand these goals from the park in order to create their artwork. The area is a residential neighborhood. It has kind of two areas. The western area has older homes, distinctive homes, and then there's new homes that are more contemporary in design right on the slopes of the eastern foothills. This park is right on the slope of the foothills. It's essentially almost literally across the street from the mountains. So it's a really good place to connect with nature. There's also several nearby attractions close to Donner Trail Park in this project area that include the University of Utah, Hogle Zoo, the Utah Museum of Fine Arts. This is the Place Heritage Park, the Natural History Museum, and Red Butte Gardens. These cultural institutions and the abundance of open space actually bring a lot of people in that are not just neighborhood residents. So it's kind of like a regional attraction in a way. However, the park is more of a set in a neighborhood setting. I want to emphasize the aspect of what's surrounding it. Here's a little bit of the project scope and site description. As part of the plans to reimagine Donner Trail Park, there will be the addition of a memorial tree grove. This memorial tree grove is designed for the community to donate and commemorate people that they want to honor through a tree. It's not going to have any plaques. It's not going to have any sort of wayfinding. It's more going to be an effort to continue to grow this place. And as it grows, the place will be reimagined and enhanced. So the grove, like I said, is established with a design that will tell a story over time as it grows. And it's good. One of the main emphasis of it is to create a contemplative space that's removed from distracting outside stimuli, and that it's a secluded space and promotes a state of connection with nature and contemplation. The good thing about us being able to work really closely with our colleagues in public lands in Salt Lake City is the integration of this artist. The selected artist will be integrated into the design team. So there is some collaboration that will be expected. And one of the main things is because we haven't determined a final location for this artwork. So we are looking to get your qualifications, and then we're going to be going into the proposal stage. And a final location is going for the artwork within the park will be determined in collaboration with this team. Another thing is, so the creative direction is determining how your artwork should be integrated into the park's landscape architecture. So we're looking also for a collaborator when we're going to be commissioning and selecting an artist for this piece. However, we want you to focus on creating an artwork that will be the centerpiece of this new park. Current site use, here is another really nice view of Salt Lake City from the park. And all of these photos were taken, I think, early fall, like around September. Currently, the park is primarily used by adults and seniors that walk a loop along the sidewalk, the perimeter of the park. It's quite a long loop, and it kind of goes on an uphill incline. The other thing that park users highlight is the open space, the nature setting of the site, in addition to the views of the Salt Lake Valley. Families and children visiting the park mainly use one of two playgrounds. This playground is on the west side of the park, which is on the lower elevation portion, but the park is also used for small gatherings, picnics, light exercise, and dog Um, Donner Trail Park has a complicated history, and this is something that we really want to contextualize for artists that are interested in pursuing this opportunity. First of all, Donner Trail Park is named after the Donner Reed Party. This is sort of like one of the most infamous stories that we have on the Manifest Destiny, coming out of people migrating to the Western United States. The Donner Trail Party, everybody knows what happened at the Sierra Nevada mountains, in which the story goes that they had to cannibalize each other, or like some people were eating other people in order to survive a brutal winter in the Sierra Nevadas. The Donner Trail Party actually missed a lot of time because instead of taking the traditional route to migrate westward, they cut through what's known as the Hastings cutoff. I have some images in the next slide so you can see it. And then that made them lose a lot of valuable time. So they were late in arriving to California and the Sierra Nevadas, that border, and it led to what they're known for today. However, this trail park is also a very interesting site here in Salt Lake City and complicated history as well, because the Mormon pioneers, when they were coming into what is now Utah, they used that same Hastings cutoff to arrive into here. So that canyon, Emigration Canyon, is actually the same canyon that the Mormon pioneers used to come into what is now the Salt Lake City Valley. The arrival of these pioneers to what is now Salt Lake City led to the displacements of various indigenous tribes, the Shoshone, the Paiute, the Goshute, and the Ute, from the traditional homelands. So this is a part of that complicated legacy and complex and painful history that this specific park honors, or not honors, but acknowledges through its name. And it's something we want to really emphasize and contextualize as artists find inspiration and or want to understand how to acknowledge that history as part of this project. To add something to the mix, when both the Donner Reed Party and the Mormon pioneers used that and started settling here in Utah, Utah was actually not Utah, it was the territory of Mexico. And it did not become part of the United States until 1848, following the invasion of Mexico by the United States Army in 1846. We want to say this because it's a complicated history. The park, in its name, Donner Trail Park, acknowledges the Donner Trail. However, we want an artist to be able to understand and contextualize this complicated history, because that's a way in which public art is very effective in, and it's bringing those painful histories to light, and make us understand and contextualize our world in a better way. The Hastings cutoff is actually this one in red, and you can see Salt Lake City is right here, right next to the Great Salt Lake. This is a political map of Mexico in 1847 at the time of the arrival of the Mormon pioneers. And when the Donner Party came here, Salt Lake City should be right around here. It was part of the Alta California province of Mexico at the time. And these are the ancestral lands of all the indigenous nations that call Utah home today. Salt Lake City is at the convergence of the Shoshone, the Goshute, and the Ute, and it's right here. All right, so moving on to talking about this. The artwork will be, the Salt Lake City Art Design Board is the citizen advisory committee who advises our program and recommends artists for commission. They're seeking to create a site-specific artwork that meets some or all of the following conceptual and or aesthetic goals. We want to see an artwork that's visually engaging but doesn't detract from the natural environment of the site and the views of the Salt Lake Valley as seen from the park. An artwork that could serve multiple purposes, artwork that provides shade or seating, encourages contemplation, emphasizes the natural environment, enhances the improvements that will be made to the park, etc. We want you to respond to the park's contemplative setting and or the unique history of the site. We say unique history of the site with the two previous slides, in which I provided some contextual history for you to understand that. That's exactly what we mean. We want to exemplify strong, imaginative design and content that is integrated into the broader design of the park. We want you to consider and incorporate sustainable concepts and materials. We don't want you to use electricity, AV technology, water, or other ongoing sources. The use of water may be allowed, and we may be able to discuss it if you're able to move into the proposal stage. However, we put it in here because it may not be a possibility. So I want to err on the side of not happening. However, water may occur. Electricity, unfortunately, people like the dark skies, and they don't want any distraction from it. So electricity will be nothing electrical besides the electricity that already exists at the park. And we want you to meet all public safety, structural, and maintenance standards and comply with the ADA Act, Salt Lake City requirements, and all other applicable laws, codes, and regulations. Now I want to show you the next couple of slides are not examples of something that we're looking for. Is the inspiration that the parks team and our team came together, and we looked at some memorial gardens, some inspiring and peaceful landscape architecture precedents throughout the world. So here are four. The first one is a memorial grove at, excuse me, located in Sweden that incorporates artwork and meditation. These links are live, so you're able to click on them and visit them. This is just inspiration of something that when we're thinking about the park, this is things that we like, but like I said, it doesn't have to be this. It could be a standalone sculpture, it could be, you know, a path, it could be something that you come up with. Circle of Friends, this is the National AIDS Memorial Grove. It's located at the Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. So I encourage you to visit, to visit the links. The clearing, this honors the victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. This is quite a beautiful park. I encourage you to really explore this site. The design is beautiful. And the Millennium Garden, the University of Nottingham in England, that incorporates a labyrinth, which is quite used in contemplative meditative settings. The budget, the commission award is $107,500, so $107,500, which will be paid at 4 estimated payments to be made upon benchmarks from the project, and we have 1 commission per artist or artist-led team. So if you're working with a team, it's the same commission as if a single artist is selected for this project. The commission is inclusive of artist fees, supplies and materials for the artwork, fabrication and labor for the artwork, insurance. We require that you carry insurance, so this cost is inclusive of that. If you don't live here in Salt Lake City, which a lot of artists that apply for these types of costs, they don't. So artwork transportation and shipping to the site, installation of the artwork on site, travel expenses. So if you need to visit Salt Lake City during the design, installation of the artwork, that will be part of it, and as well as artwork engineering. Additional considerations that we require of artists, it's to plan at least a 10% contingency within the project. And one good thing about this project is since the artist will be integrated into the design team, or at least be a part of it and allow you to, you know, have creative direction in how the artwork will be placed. So certain things will be included in the final construction document, like footings for sculptures, for example. So this should not alleviate, but help you and achieve and perhaps think more creatively about your budget. I want to go over the insurance requirements that Salt Lake City has. We require you to carry 3 different things: general liability with Salt Lake City Corporation listed as additional insured. We require you to have vehicle insurance with Salt Lake City listed as additional insured, and workers' compensation, either proof of workers' compensation insurance, or you can apply for a waiver from the state of Utah, and they're able to grant that. Artist qualifications. The Salt Lake Art Design Board, in consultation with project stakeholders and public art representatives, are going to choose up to 3 finalists to develop artwork proposals for consideration and commission. And the selection of an artist or team is subject to, but not limited by, the following qualifications: your experience representing developed and a successful body of site-specific public art projects that are of a similar scope and scale as demonstrated by visual representation. Of course, your ability to meet deadlines, work with a team, stay within budget, and perform work in a timely and professional manner. Your willingness to collaborate with the Salt Lake City Art Design Board, community stakeholders, city partners, ourselves to successfully integrate your artwork into the landscape architecture of the site. Your ability to understand sense of place and design in a context-sensitive manner, as demonstrated by visual documentation. We're looking for someone whose process and work reveals something about the world, communicating a unique perspective, inviting the viewer to question, discover, explore new ideas. Your storytelling has to be relevant, it's compelling, and your exploration of the artwork or of the subject that you are tackling is relevant and deeply considered. That your artwork doesn't require excessive maintenance and meets public safety requirements and Salt Lake City requirements. So here's a little bit about what the process for selecting finalists will be. If you're selected a finalist, this application is due on December 6th. If you're selected a finalist, we'll let you know within a week of that decision, maybe by the next day. And you're going to be required to participate in 2 meetings as the finalist. The first one is to give you sort of, it's like a fact-finding type of meeting. We provide you with all the information that you need in order for your project to be successful. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions of the team, to ask questions from us, from the landscape architects, from the parks team that are carrying out this project, and to get your, in order for you to form your proposal. This meeting will be virtual. The second meeting, which will also be virtual, is your meeting with the Art Design Board, in which you're going to present your conceptual proposal to the board and project stakeholders, in which you should convey your ideas and plans through designs, renderings, and include a statement that describes how you are going to approach the project, what your proposed materials are, fabrication and installation methods, project schedule, and an itemized budget. After that meeting on April 3rd, you're going to have from early January, mid-January, we'll have that meeting pretty much until the end of March. So you have a good chunk of time in order for you to come up with your and develop your proposal. After that meeting, the Art Design Board is expected to select one per commission, and that person will be recommended to the mayor, who has final approval for Salt Lake City Art Commissions. Finalists will receive a $2,000 stipend for all design development, research meetings, presentations, and if they wish to do so, additional community engagement. The stipend is inclusive of any travel expenses, hotels, shipping, and is independent from the $107,500,000 commission. We're not requiring you to come to Salt Lake City to develop your proposal. However, you're invited to do so, and if you do so, we'll be happy to meet with you and help you come up with a proposal. However, that stipend for the project proposal will remain the same. Couple of things that I wanted to go over regarding the artist agreements and project assumptions. If you're selected a finalist, you're going to sign 2 agreements. The first one is a very simple letter of agreement in which you as a finalist and the Arts Council create an understanding that you'll be developing a proposal. We will pay proposal honorariums through an invoice. The second will be a 2-party artist commission work agreement with Salt Lake City Corporation. In order for you to be able to enter into that agreement, we will need to have you demonstrate that you carry general liability and auto insurance, workers' compensation. You don't need to submit engineering drawings in order for you to be able to enter into an agreement with Salt Lake City. You are able to negotiate the language of that with us. However, I wanted to point out that you have to have your engineering approved prior to the start date of artwork fabrication. We have a sample contract here for you to view. However, the details of your contract for this commission will be slightly different, but we want to give you a boilerplate of how we do that. 2 other things that we carry are project assumptions that we have for every other project that we commission, is that we retain the right to remove or relocate the artwork as we see necessarily in the future. This one's not as complicated, but for some projects like in transportation projects or things on the street, we want to keep that flexible. So that will be something that will be on your contract, and you will retain copyright of your work, but you're going to grant Salt Lake City a right for reproduction whenever we do outreach campaigns, whenever we do Instagram posts, social media, or when we go and present on how our program works. We like to use your image and promote you, so you're going to grant us hopefully that right to reproduction. And as a reminder that you have to comply with all applicable SLC requirements, laws, codes, ordinances, and regulations. Finally, the last slide that goes over this project is the project schedule. This is an approximate timeline as best as we know as of this moment, but in no way represents the final approved schedules. We wanted to give you this in order for you to be able to determine whether you can participate in this project or not. The RFQ is due December 6, 2023. The application is through cafe callforentry.org by 11:59 p.m. No late applications are going to be accepted, no exceptions. So give yourself ample time for you to be able to submit your application by the December 6th deadline. The next things is the finalist process. If you are selected as a finalist, we'll be reaching out to you in early January 2024. And within a week or two after we reach out to you, we're going to require you to attend a virtual fact-finding meeting with project stakeholders and colleagues from public lands in order for you to be able to ask questions from us and get to know the site in a more intimate and more contextual way. Your finalist proposals, if selected, they're going to be due to us a week before that April 3rd meeting. So late March, you're going to have about January, February, March, almost 3 months, or I think 3 months for you to develop those proposals. The finalist presentation to the Salt Lake Art Design Board is on April 3rd, 2024. Our meetings are in the evening from 5 to 7 Mountain Standard Time. And we expect to have a commission recommendation from Mayor Mendenhall approving the recommendation by the Art Design Board by late April 2024. After that, if you're selected for commission during the spring, we'll go into contracting. The park design, development, and artwork integration will take place in summer of 2024. And the park is going to be constructed from the fall of 2024 through the spring of 2025. This should coincide with artwork fabrication and installation. We'll coordinate that with you. And we expect a ribbon cutting ceremony in the spring or summer of 2025. All right, so thanks for making it this far. Now I'm going to tell you, give you some tips on how to apply. Like I said, the call for artists, you are able to apply through callforentry.org. This is the direct link to the application website. All applications have to be submitted through Cafe website. We do not accept applications outside of that website. So become familiar and acquainted with that site. We recommend a minimum of 48 hours prior to the deadline for you to be able to understand how the website works. I know a lot of public artists throughout the United States are quite familiar with it. Some may not be. So we ask you to prepare and reach out to us if you have any questions, but give yourself ample time. We may not be able to answer questions within the last few days of the open call because we won't be available. So I give yourself time. That's what we want to do. Assisting using submittable, it's not submittable as Cafe. So that's my typo, I'll correct that. You can find them via their online help center. The details are in the RFQ. And all application materials are going to be uploaded through the corresponding fields. So refer to the RFQ and refer to Cafe in order for you to be able to understand what's required. Any materials not specifically requested as part of this application, like a proposal or exceeding maximum page length or format requirements, will not be considered or reviewed and may result in disqualification. This is our public art program web email. If you need any accommodations, including translation and interpretation services to languages other than English, in order for you to complete your application, just reach out to us. I'm a fluent Spanish speaker, so I'll be able to help you if so. But we request that any accommodations, you reach out to us and seek assistance. We're happy to do so. Submission requirements. You, like I said at the beginning, you may apply individually as a team. Again, deadline is Wednesday, December 6th at 11:59 p.m. and all complete applications will be reviewed. Your full name and contact info has to appear on all submitted materials. And if you're applying as part of a team, let us know who we can reach out as part of the team representative. Again, one application, one person. So you may not submit an application as an individual artist and as part of a team. Here is some more information about the ways in which you can seek help from the cafe using the cafe website. Unfortunately, we do not control that website. It's a pretty intuitive website. So if you have even minimum experience using websites, I'm notoriously bad for dealing with technology and I can use this one fine. However, if you have any issues, we are linking the contact information for them. And like I said, any materials not specifically requested as this part of this application or that do not meet the format requirements are not going to be considered and may result in disqualifications. We do not make notifications when disqualifications occur. All right, so here are the application materials. Please pay attention to minimums and maximums and other requirements, but your letter of interest is one of the most important things you're gonna submit. All of these are important, but this is the way in which you're gonna tell the art design board who makes the selections and who will become a finalist, the story and why they should pick you as an artist to carry out this commission. So our suggestion is to keep your narrative relevant, short, to the point, but aim to connect to the project's goals for describing previous work of yours. So if you've done something in the past that really connects to this is your place to mention it and to really build that narrative and tell that story of why you should be selected. Your resume and CV, it's 2 pages max, please, not to exceed 3 pages. Per artist and artist teams, you have to submit a 2-page resume per artist. And keep it current, brief, and relevant. Try to avoid fancy fonts, colors, pictures, just to the point. And please, please, please include 2 professional references as part of your resume. And these references will only be contacted during the interview process, the proposal development that you have. Now, I want to emphasize the images of your work. We are requesting a minimum of 5, but a maximum of 10. And this is the way that your artwork is judged primarily. So keep that in mind. Make sure that your photos are good, quality, straightforward, clear of the work itself, and that you include the metadata information from the cafe that requests you that, it asks you for title, date, medium, dimension. Make sure you include that in there. But this is how your work this is how you're going to make an impact. So make sure that these images are good. Do not submit multiple images of different artworks, multiple images of the same thing or different artworks collaged into one image. And we're allowing you to submit previous proposals that maybe were not carried out to commission, but this cannot account for more than 3 of the 10, and you have to clearly outline that these are proposals that were never carried out to completion, or maybe they're proposals that you're still working on for commission. Assistance, once again, I won't go through this slide because I've talked about it plenty, but this is some assistance that you can receive in your application process. So we do our best to respond to you as fast as we can, but give yourself time, particularly in those last few days of the RFQ. We may be getting a lot of questions and a lot of information. It may not be possible for us to answer to you in a timely manner. Any questions regarding this RFQ can be addressed to the Public Art Program. Here is my personal email, and here is the Public Art Program's email that's listed in the RFQ. You may not reach out to any member of the Art Design Board during the Call for Artists process or stakeholders for the process during the selection process. We will be posting the recording of this session and these slides. I noticed a few typos and I apologize. I'll correct them, I'll clean them up, but we'll upload this to our website as well, to the RFQ page. And that concludes this presentation, and I'm able to take questions if there are any.
So Renato, it looks like we have one question
Yes.
concerning the images of work, just of the artwork itself. If the surrounding landscape is part of the placement of the piece, can it be included since this project is also looking for integration into the environment?
Sure. I think that you're providing context. So as long as you're speaking and clearly you're doing, if your project, I think I'm understanding this right, that you were part of a bigger project, you know, an integrated more artwork, and the landscape is contextually too relevant to the artwork, yeah, sure. Just indicate that's an artwork. And if you have any questions about the image, you can give us a call or send us a message, and we can tell you about it. But from what I'm understanding, it should be okay.
Okay, we have another question. As a team, should they include examples of artwork from each individual artist?
Yes, if you've worked as a team before, collectively, include work of yourself as a team. However, if you never worked together, you can make sure you include relevant artwork examples from each member of the team if there are multiple artists, in order for the art design board and the stakeholders to visualize what they will be together and how they're going to connect. I think another thing besides the example of artwork is to really convey that in your narrative within your letter of interest. So the people can connect the dots of how people are going to work together.
Okay, and it looks like we have another question. My partner is a painting artist. Is this project also allowed for painting artwork?
It depends on what you propose. My first answer is yes. A painter could be a part of it. However, we need you to, it will be something that could be answered after, but you know, as part of the team, let's say that you're proposing a sculpture and the sculpture has painted elements through it, or you're creating, you know, a seating area and the seating area integrates painted elements, that is allowed, and it should be able to proceed as part of the team.
I think that's all the questions we have right now.
Cool.
Before we finish, does anyone have any other questions? No.
All right. Well, I want to appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us. Amy, thank you so much for being my second set of eyes and my incredible help with getting those questions answered. And thank you again for taking the time to attend this info session. Like I said, our contact information will be posted. Give us send us an email, ask any questions. We'll be happy to answer them to you. Thank you.